Now, the life of an extra might be unglamorous to some, but let's face it, you do get to potentially rub shoulders with some big celebrities, star in some amazing movies, and of course, get a free hot meal every now and again. But some extras in the past do seem to have gone above and beyond when it came to filming their scenes, and not always in a good way. So let's look at the poor souls who committed so much that they actually ended up ruining their scenes. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 extras who completely ruined their scenes. Number 10. Blofeld's cat is not a happy one. So as some of you might know, thanks to The Last Samurai, working with animals is sometimes incredibly dangerous if you are an extra, because in that case, a horse kicked an extra in the testicles and they had to carry on with the scene in question. I'm not laughing. Ow. But yes, it proves one thing above all else, that no matter how well trained they are or how usually well behaved they are, you can never quite tell how an animal will react in a stressful or volatile situation. I mean, just ask Blofeld, who suffered at the mercy of a spooked feline. Clearly unhappy with the on-set explosions that were going on around them in the James Bond film in question, the animal shows its utter disdain and completely upstages everyone else in the scene in the process. And how does it do that? Well, by sinking its teeth and claws into Donald Pleasance, who, you know what, to his credit, does not miss a beat. Even though you can tell he's in agony. I mean, look at that cat, it is going absolutely ham on his bones. Number 9. Little Verne needs to pee. Some sterling detective work went into finding this now infamous clip from Back to the Future Part 3. I'd like to say that it was done by my hand and trap like mine, but you know what, it just totally wasn't. But you know what, we can still enjoy it nevertheless. Quite worryingly, the rest of the internet seems to be convinced that the little chap in the following clip is an incorrigible pervert due to his cheeky groin pointing in the background as Doc Brown avoids telling Marty McFly quite how he managed to magic a ruddy great time train machine out of nowhere. But in reality, it's obvious that Verne, played here by Darnell Evans, was merely in dire need of a bathroom break and was trying to signal as such. Still, it's remarkably funny all the same. Number 8. A careless stormtrooper. Possibly the most famous clip in the history of the entire universe, and certainly the most infamous bit of Star Wars footage, the careless stormtrooper who banged his head in 1977's A New Hope has gone down in Star Wars folklore as one of the most visible and unintentional mistakes of the franchise. Still, though, at least it's not as bad a mistake as casting Hayden Christensen. Oh, take that, Hayden, wherever you are, whatever you're doing now. I don't know, not following you at all. Unfortunately, the hilarious headbanger also allowed George Lucas to flex his comedy muscles in subsequent Star Wars releases. On a low doorway above his ship in Attack of the Clones, and then adding in ridiculous sound effects to the original bump in the 2004 re-release of the original trilogy. Even EA got in on the joke here by having one of their stormtroopers bang their heads in one of their recent Battlefront games. Number 7. North by Northwest spoiler alert. This is a long-time favourite since it combines the two things that make the internet great: cuteness and head-numbing idiocy. So directors everywhere should learn from this little lad's scene-spoiling self-preservation as he anticipates ear-offending gunshots. Quite simply, if you're looking for an authentic reaction from an untrained child, you should probably try and keep it to just one shot, because this crafty little devil spoiled the impact of the scene by preparing himself for a shot that the audience didn't know was coming. Hitchcock probably loved this and clearly included it for the fun in the final edit. I mean, you have to suspect that he wouldn't have missed it accidentally. I mean, that guy missed nothing. But that doesn't avoid the fact that this little fella here, well, destroyed the magic of the moment somewhat. Number 6. Coach Carter upsets hysterical man. Now, this is the thing. When it comes to actors, Samuel L. Jackson is probably the last person you would think would go around pissing people off. Yet, if you're to watch Coach Carter, then it clearly looks like he's the most hated man on earth. Because here, the imposing Tarantino favorite was upsetting people in character by closing a school gym in order to punish his undefeated varsity team at California's Richmond High School for not meeting the grades they agreed that they would do at the start of the season. Now, Carter should have been heralded as an American hero for his services to education and to his young charges. He stuck to his guns despite ridicule in order to teach a valuable lesson. But sporting victory is obviously too much of a drug to give up, if you're to go by the extra that you can see here in the background of this shot, because my god, they do not like what he has to say. Now remember, extras should never draw attention to themselves and always remain committed to the scene and never, ever try to upstage one of the stars, especially if it's Samuel L. Bloody Jackson. But clearly this guy didn't get the message. Number 5. Teen Wolf PERV. For a long time, it was assumed that this apparently accidentally included Flasher and Teen Wolf was a male prankster trying to get his business into a Hollywood film. But in reality, it had subsequently been revealed that the offender was in fact a woman whose pants were for some reason undone during the basketball victory scene. For anyone who hasn't seen it so far, the scene will never be the same again, even if the knowledge that there is no penis being flashed here, as we long suspected, because our eyes will always be drawn up to the top left-hand corner of the screen as we wonder what on earth she was doing before the camera started filming. Maybe being an extra is clearly exciting for some, who knows. Number 4. Darth Vader bangs his head. Now, to be clear, this one isn't so much an extra as it is a supporting actor, and indeed one that would go on to subsequently play one of the most infamously testy helmet wearers in all of the galaxy, but he's still no much more than a glorified extra in this particular scene, even if he is painted rather fetchingly from head to toe in silver, playing some sort of loincloth-wearing android called, unsurprisingly, Android, in this 4-part episode of The Tomorrow People. David Prowse looks like he's auditioning for a part in the Rocky Horror Bloody Picture Show, walking with poise and presence to open a cage on command. And you know what? It all holds together well until the future Sith Lord stonks his head off said cage, and looks slightly dazed for a minute, probably waiting for the director to call cut. Except the Tomorrow People obviously didn't have the sort of budget to frivolously reshoot sequences like this, and Prowse's clanger stayed in for the final aired scene. It's very, very, very funny, and a nice link back to the Star Wars universe, right? Number 3. The GOODFELLAS Diner. A heavyweight pivotal scene in the excellent gangster flick GOODFELLAS sees Ray Liotta effectively learn that he's about to be whacked on the instruction of his supposed friend Jimmy. But it's unfortunately a scene that is accidentally ruined by a try-hard extra in the background. Has anyone ever so obviously personified the phrase, "don't look at the camera," as much as this husky gentleman? He's supposed to be furniture in the scene, something to stick in the background to convince us that the characters are in an authentic environment without ever being intrusive or drawing the conscious gaze of the audience, but for some reason he is completely gripping, and once you start to watch his attempts to look realistic and, more engagingly, his very obvious attempts not to look in the direction of the camera, which fails noticeably on one occasion, it's extremely hard to concentrate on anything else. It's not that he's charismatic per se, it's more that he sticks out like a sore thumb, and his performance is just completely unconvincing, even despite its lowly specifications. Just sit there, don't move, and quietly eat. We don't want anyone to give you a second look. That's what he was told to do, and he failed every part of that. Number 2. It's a tiger shark. Now, there is a reason sometimes that actors are always relegated to being extras and not getting promoted to speaking parts, as this gentleman in Jaws proves with gusto. Now, it's not because they never had the right breaks or don't want to make it big, quite simply it's because they tend to deliver lines with the authenticity and gravitas that we see here. Facing the knowledge that a tiger shark has been pulled out of the drink, with the classification coming from Richard Dreyfuss, the townsman, otherwise known as Frank Pratt in the film and Dick Young in real life, reacts with almost cartoonish and completely unnecessary disbelief. It's a very funny moment, and it was probably intended as such, but Young's acting, God, it's just laughably terrible here. And number 1, The Dark Knight Rises spoilsport. Now, some might say that the guy that we're about to detail should be applauded for managing to leak his footage of the Heinz Field disaster scene from The Dark Knight Rises. But you know what? I say that he's a dirty cheat who spoiled what was one of the greatest scenes in a rather otherwise sadly underwhelming movie. He's also pretty much single-handedly responsible for making the internet get its knickers in an almighty twist over the problems with Bane's voice ahead of the official reveal of Tom Hardy's performance. Now, though the audio quality that you're seeing here isn't all that great, it is possible to hear Bane's now infamous mumbling delivery, and all of a sudden, a lot of people started to have concerns over Hardy's performance, even though he was previously widely heralded as an outstanding choice for the role. In other words, this leaked video of this pivotal scene sowed the first seeds of doubt for many. So, I ask you, why was this extra poor at his job of, well, being an extra? Well, it's simple. He ignored the fact that his filming of the disaster was probably exactly what any of the kids in the stadium would have actually been doing in real life as the world ended in front of him. This overzealous leaker betrayed Chris Nolan by giving us all a glimpse behind the curtain before anyone was ready for it. This is why we have NDAs, to protect the mystery of cinema. But here, when it's laid bare, God, it's a bit ugly in places, isn't it? And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 extras who completely ruined their scenes. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, that's Dice with a C, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it'd be great to see you over there, my friends. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. I hope that you're treating yourself well, both mentally and physically. Treat yourself with love and respect, my friend, because you deserve all the good things in life, and don't let anyone else or anything tell you otherwise, alright? Now go out there and absolutely smash it, you big ledge. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.